Hey, my name's Chris Thomas. You're watching The Entrepreneur Show in partnership with Dukascopy TV. This episode's about impulsiveness, impulsive entrepreneurs. Avoid the temptation. Impulsiveness is when people cannot wait to get started. We all know impulsive people, and we've all been impulsive ourselves, at times. In the entrepreneurial world, impulsiveness is when we come up with an amazing idea, or so we think, normally validating this idea with friends and family, jump straight in and try to launch a business instantly. But we haven't even bothered to validate many important questions as to determine whether the business is really going to work or not. Here's something that I've learned from Steve Blank, the Stanford University Professor on entrepreneurship. The 3 M's in an opportunity assessment. Number 1, market. The first thing is to really understand if there are enough people in our market who need and want that product. In today's market, there are so many different things that people can buy. So why should they go for your particular product? You may think that your business is the best ever, but unless there are enough people who agree with you and who will buy your product or service, then you're not going to have a viable business. Number 2, margin. Assuming that you have enough customers who want to buy your product, after doing your market research, you'll have to understand the margin. If you can't make enough margin out of the product, then there's no point in going further. You have to understand exactly what the market wants and know if you can produce your product for a good price and make margin on top of that. If not, you simply don't have a viable product. If the answer is yes, then we can move forward. And at this stage, you should have a rough paper profit margin of about 40 or 50%. Now the reason for this is because you're likely to have missed or forgot some of the costs which will go into creating your product or service, and hence you can add them in later and still expect to make some good margin when you finally come towards creating that product. In a very simple example, you want to create a really nice toy that perhaps you can sell for $50. Consider the costs associated with this toy. Material, time, staffing, electricity, lighting, computers, perhaps a few more costs at this stage that you don't really expect, but you don't want this overall cost to be more than $25 or $30. If your costs come in to $40, $45 at this stage, you're clearly going to have a very small potential profit margin. And a small potential profit margin at this stage means that you don't have a viable product. Why? Because you're likely to have missed some of your costs, or some costs will be higher than you've already anticipated, and so they will completely wipe out any profit margin. And number 3, me, or in this case, you. The final M is the feasibility analysis or opportunity assessment. That is the M for me. Just because you can make some money from something doesn't mean to say that it's the right project for you to do. Are you the right person for that actual business? Are you the person to make this work and to make the project successful? And do you actually want to do this business? Do you see yourself in this environment as it expands and develops and likely changes course over the next 2, 3, 4 years? You have to have so much more than just the idea. You have to have some knowledge, some experience, some exposure to the industry to be able to pull everything together and make it work. Whilst you can hire some of the expertise, you have to be good at understanding and have an overview of the most of it. Therefore, you need to ask yourself, is this something that I can really do? Do I know enough about it to make it a reality? You also need to consider if this project will make you enough money to be able to pay your costs for your cost of living, as well as your basic lifestyle that you need. You'll find that most entrepreneurs, their desired outcome is not to make millions and millions of dollars. That's definitely a nice extra to have, but most entrepreneurs start businesses because they have a real passion about it, a real exciting drive to push them forward. So please take all these M factors into account when creating your next opportunity. My name's Chris Thomas. You've been watching The Entrepreneur Show in partnership with Dukascopy TV. Until next time, see ya.